Is Jonathan Mogbo a big man or a wing? Because right now, the Toronto Raptors have no idea what to do with their most confusing rookie in years. And honestly, this could either be the biggest developmental mistake Bobby Webster makes in his new era, or it could unlock a defensive weapon that changes everything. You won't believe what's happening behind closed doors at Scotiabank Arena and why this sophomore's identity crisis has the entire front office scratching their heads. We're talking about a player who literally recorded a triple-double as a rookie but still can't figure out where he belongs on an NBA court. This is absolutely insane, and what I'm about to reveal will have you questioning everything about Toronto's rebuild strategy. What's up, Raptors Nation? Quick Court coming in hot with another deep dive that's gonna blow your mind. You guys know I live and breathe this team, and today we need to have a serious conversation about Jonathan Mogbo. Are you ready for this? Because what's happening with our 2-3-year-old forward is either genius or complete madness. Drop a comment right now. Do you think Mogbo is a big or a wing? I need to know where you stand on this. And stick around until the end, because I'm going to reveal exactly why this decision could determine whether we're playoff contenders in 2 years or stuck in mediocrity for the next 5. Trust me, you'll see why this matters more than any draft pick and why certain teams are already planning to exploit this weakness if we don't figure it out fast. Let me paint you a picture of complete chaos. Last season, the Raptors drafted Jonathan Mogbo as the 31st pick, C1, supposedly an NBA-ready big man who dominated college basketball. This dude had 62 dunks in his final NCAA season. 62! He was shooting 76.2% at the rim. Those are Zion Williamson numbers. But here's where it gets absolutely ridiculous. The moment he stepped into Toronto, they decided to completely reinvent him. They wanted to turn this paint beast into a wing player. Can you imagine? It's like taking Shaquille O'Neal and asking him to play shooting guard. The organization literally sent Mogbo to the G League for a full month just to practice being a wing. A full month. Think about that note. While other rookies were getting NBA minutes, developing chemistry with the main roster, our guy was down in Mississauga trying to learn how to shoot threes after attempting exactly TWO in his entire college career. TWO. And now they expect him to be stretching the floor? This is madness. This is absolutely madness. Here's what nobody wants to talk about. Mogbo shot 59% at the rim as an NBA rookie. That sounds decent until you realize he shot 76% in college. That's a 17% drop. Do you understand how catastrophic that is? We're talking about a player whose entire college identity was built on dominating the paint, and now he can't even finish consistently against NBA bigs. And it gets worse. His three-point shooting, 24.3%, 24%. But wait, there's a plot twist that makes this even more confusing. When Mogbo played Summer League this year as a big man sex, not a wing, he shot 65.4% from the field. He looked comfortable, decisive, athletic. It's almost like, and stay with me here, playing players in their natural position actually works. Who would have thought? Yet the Raptors keep insisting on this wing transformation that's clearly not working. It's insane. Now here's where things get really interesting. And this is what's keeping Bobby Webster up at night. Jonathan Mogbo is elite defensively. I'm not exaggerating. He's in the same company as Alex Caruso and Chris Dunn when defending pick-and-roll ball handlers. Only 3 players in the entire NBA defended over 150 pick-and-roll possessions and kept opponents under 700 points per possession. Caruso, Dunn, and our boy Mogbo. That's all defense team territory. Do you know how valuable that is in today's NBA? This is what makes the whole situation so frustrating. We have a defensive specialist who can switch onto guards, forwards, even some centers, and completely shut them down. But offensively, he's a complete liability right now. Teams are literally playing 5-on-4 when he's on the court because they don't respect his shot. They're not even guarding him. Remember when we had Ben Simmons rumors years ago? This is giving me the same vibes, except Mogbo actually wants to improve his shot. But wanting and doing are two different things. How long do we wait? How patient can this franchise afford to be when we're trying to build around Scottie Barnes and Brandon Ingram? And here's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to address, Jakob Poeltl. Our starting center is solid, but what happens when he sits? We've got Mogbo, who can't decide if he's a big or a wing. We've got 9-year-old Ulrich Chomche, who's years away from being ready. And we've got Sandro Mamukelashvili, who just signed. That's it. That's our entire center rotation. This is where the rubber meets the road. The Raptors might have no choice but to abandon this whole wingification project and just play Mogbo as an undersized center. But can a 6'9" player really survive as a center in today's NBA? Look at what happened to Draymond Green. He revolutionized the position, but he also had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson spacing the floor. We don't have that luxury. Let me take you back to 2005. The Milwaukee Bucks drafted Andrew Bogut first overall as a traditional center. A few years later, they tried to turn him into a point center who could facilitate from the high post. You know what happened? They completely ruined his development. It took him getting traded to Golden State to finally reach his potential as a traditional center. This is exactly what I'm afraid is happening with Mogbo. We're trying to be too cute, too innovative, when sometimes the answer is right in front of us. Play the man at his natural position. Let him develop confidence. Then, and only then, can you start adding layers to his game. This isn't rocket science. And don't even get me started on what happened with Andrea Bargnani. The Raptors tried to make him a stretch 5 before that was even a thing. And look how that turned out. We're repeating history here. And it's absolutely insane that nobody in the organization seems to see it. Here's something fascinating. Mogbo and Scottie Barnes are childhood friends. They played AAU ball together. Barnes even lived with Mogbo's family during high school. You'd think this connection would help Mogbo's development, right? You'd think Barnes would be mentoring him, showing him the ropes, helping him find his identity. But what if, and this is just speculation, Knight, what if Barnes is part of the problem? Think about it. Barnes is a point forward who does everything. Maybe Mogbo is trying too hard to emulate his friend instead of carving out his own niche. Maybe the pressure of living up to Barnes' versatility is actually hurting Mogbo's development. It's like having LeBron James as your best friend, inspiring, but also potentially overwhelming. Are we seeing a case where familiarity is breeding confusion instead of comfort? Now let's talk about what nobody wants to discuss, door 12, the trade deadline. If Mogbo doesn't figure out his identity by February, the Raptors have a serious decision to make. Do they package him in a deal for a proven center? Do they double down on the wing experiment? Or do they just accept that he's a defensive specialist who might never contribute offensively? I'm hearing whispers, and these are just whispers, that teams are already calling about Mogbo. They see the defensive potential. They see a 2-3-year-old with a 7-foot wingspan who can guard multiple positions. In the right system, with the right development plan, this kid could be special. But are the Raptors that team? Under Bobby Webster's leadership, without Masai Ujiri's vision, can they figure this out? This is Bobby Webster's first real test as the sole decision maker. Masai would have probably made a decisive call by now, either commit to Mogbo as a big or trade him while his value still exists. But Webster seems paralyzed by indecision. Is this inexperience showing, or is there a master plan we're not seeing? Listen, Raptors Nation, we need to face facts here. Jonathan Mogbo is at a crossroads, and so is this franchise. We've got a defensive savant who can't score, a supposed big man who shoots 24% from 3, and an organization that seems more interested in experimenting than winning. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. The solution is staring us right in the face. Play Mogbo as an undersized center, let him dominate defensively, and slowly develop his offensive game without forcing him to be something he's not. Stop the wing experiment. It's not working. The Summer League proved he's better as a big bake. What more evidence do we need? But here's my question for you, and I really want you to blow up the comments with this. You were Bobby Webster. Would you trade Mogbo at the deadline for a proven center, or would you bet on his development? And more importantly, do you trust this front office to make the right decision without Masai? Because honestly, after watching this chaos unfold, I'm starting to have serious doubts. Hit that subscribe button if you want to follow this story, because I promise you, this situation is going to explode one way or another. And remember, keep repping that red and black Raptors Nation and integrity over everything. We deserve better than confusion and half measures. We deserve a team with an identity and players who know their roles. Until next time, this is Quick Court saying trust the process. Even when the process makes absolutely no sense. Is Mogbo a big or a wing? The shocking truth behind Raptors chaos.